and I'm gonna let my guy introduce himself. Bam.
Peace, peace, peace. Tirby, F.Aa.T Brand, flourish at all times. Riff on the Cliff. You know about Riff on the Cliff because I know y'all been seeing it. Stan, thank you for having me. It's my first media. You know, I don't do shit like this. I don't put the camera on my face. I don't do cooking tutorials. I don't do workout
Consider
tutorials.
me blessed.
I don't. It's not my thing. It's just not my thing.
Thank you for coming on, man. And about that, we're gonna get right down into it. Tirby, everybody, a lot of people don't know you as Tirby. They'll see F.Aa.T Brand. So explain to me and explain to everybody else about who is Tirby before we even get into flourishing at all times. Who is Tirby? Honestly, man, it's my platform.
Honestly,
give it up, man.
Tirby's a lot, and what I've learned is you can't be afraid to keep learning as you get older. Like I've learned to be experienced to different things and involve myself in different cultures and different walks of life, and having my wife, you know, tell me to be more out there and open. Pause. You know, I really don't have a definition. I'm still figuring myself out. I'm still learning. And that's why, you know, I only do what I think is dope. I only do what's cool to me.
Real shit. And to go into that, because you're talking to the king of introverts. So you talk about somebody who had to jump out of their shell to get into a whole different field that I'm in.
We worked well during the pandemic, right? We were cool. Like the introverts, we were cool during the pandemic. It was everybody that couldn't be outside that, you know,
now everybody back outside. We don't want to come back outside. So is that I understand fully, man. I understand fully. But see, and shout outs to wifey for because people don't know the wifey is the support system to those who.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of not to cut you off. A lot of the, you know, some of the things you see me post, or some of the music, some of the records that I post, like some people will hit me like, you know, what song was that you posted? Or, you know, I listen to all types of music. As whoever follows me, you can tell, yeah, that comes from my wife. That comes from a little bit of my upbringing, just, you know, being around different people. But yeah, black women, black queen. I'll circle back around to that when we get to the festival. But yeah,
black women, shout out to black women. So Tirby's the introverted, started off introverted, quiet as kept, Renaissance man, businessman. You're trying, but
I'm trying.
As far as that game, and we'll get into that more when we talk about Riff on the Cliff, but getting into that and organizing, getting into that word, organize, and having organization skills. So I'll say that. But tell me, how did F.Aa.T Brand come along? How did Tirby get into F.Aa.T Brand? Like first of all, explain the acronym F.Aa.T Brand, and then lead into how that happened.
Well, the acronym stands for flourish at all times. The Roman numerals that you see, the D, CC, XX, V with the 3 H, that's 728. That's my birthday, Leo gang. It's just a Roman numeral that I ran with. You know, I got it tatted on me. But F.Aa.T Brand just stood for flourish at all times. It's for whatever you do. If it's sports, if it's music, if it's art, if it's just being cool, if it's you working a 9 to 5, it's if you work the cubicle life like I do. You know, it's whatever you want it to be. One thing I had to learn in life is that everybody's happiness isn't the same. You have some people that, you know, they want $100 million. Some people don't want $100 million.
I can take $1 million. It's a way of life. Everybody has a certain way that they go about things. I mean, $100 million, you can have $100 million today and spend it all tomorrow, and you give me $1 million, I can take it for the rest of my life.
Right.
So whatever.
Exactly. But it's just it just comes down to, you know, whatever makes you happy, and whatever it is that you want to be good at. And like I said, that it might not be money. Like sometimes people put that connotation of money on everything. And That's
No,
not
money
all.
makes you
It's
more.
not
Money makes
always
you 10
it.
times the
You
person
know.
you already are. So if you was an asshole broke, and when you got money, you're gonna be 10 times the asshole you was. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. I had, friends that I went to college with that went to the NFL and played professional sports, and money is just problems on a different level. I tell people all the time, you're just in a different tax bracket. I know dudes that played in the NFL, and we sitting Sunday afternoon watching them like he's living his wildest dreams. He's sitting on the sideline like, man, I can't wait for this game to be over with. Like I can't wait to go. I got family asking me for money. I got my baby mother over there in row B. I got my side chick in row C. Like, I'm stressing. You're watching a game, man. I'm stressing, and you think I'm living the
More
life.
money,
I
more
got problems
problems.
when
They
these
say. I
cameras
mean,
go.
like, niggas,
You
niggas
know,
didn't
when
think how much that song would have mattered.
that's right. Shout out to Puff. We'll
More
get to
money,
that
more
too.
problems.
That's
So
a lot
Fat
of
Bro,
the.
so then when I
Get to that.
first met you, you know what I mean? When we first encountered each other, it was at an event. You know what I mean? That's the thing that we do. You were in your management. I was in A&R. We still do this type of stuff, but we've branched off. But when I first met you, tell me the relationship that you had with that artist, my man, IZM 400. You know what I mean?
With IZM 400, I mean IZM 400. He's an incredible artist. He's an incredible artist. Right now we're not currently working together now. He has another management situation. Um, but he's an incredible artist. How we met, he's told the story before, so
Yeah.
it's cool with me telling the story. He said it. He's told the story on larger
Okay.
platforms, big platforms. So, how we met, I was a caseworker at social services, and long story short, he was singing or something. He came and saw me to take care of some business or whatever, and he started singing, and I was like, "Oh, you sing?" And at the time, I've been outside of the music business. I hadn't dealt with anybody, independent, major, nothing like that. So he told me he did music. We had the Leo thing, going, and yeah, he's a talented dude. I heard certain records, like, he has insane records, like insane records. He can. I tell him this all the time, so I'll say it here. Like, he could be a songwriter for a lot of people, and people would never know. And he could be a multimillionaire. Like, I've heard records. He has records now that are like Grammy award winning that people have never
Yeah, man.
fucking heard.
Listen,
Can I curse
this
on
is
here?
my platform. Let's do it. Let's go.
He has records that people have never fucking heard that are literally Grammy. And I'm not just saying that, because another thing about me, I don't like everything. I don't like everybody's music. I don't like everybody's shit.
You
I'm not a
speak.
wink in the gun guy. Like, I don't call it whack, but if it's not for me,
We need
or
more
I
of
don't
that. We
like
need
it, I
more of
just
that.
don't
Is
dig it.
the climate shifted to more yes men rather than more people that are honest about their opinions of somebody's craft, and we need more people like you that are honest about the craft and that can give somebody honest opinion, not hurting their feelings, but just telling them some stuff that they need to work on.
No, 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 no. People need their feelings hurt. We've no, check this out, Stan. We've always had that in the music business. See, what happened
Yeah.
was this thing called the internet. And see, the internet moved the A&R guy out of the way. Because now the kid in Baltimore, the kid in Atlanta, the kid in New York, the kid in LA, the kid in fucking Willacoochee, Georgia could rap tonight and be viral Saturday morning.
Nope.
You don't need an A&R for that. Now we have digital. Now it's digital on who's hot and who's not. I come from the school of
we're gonna work on that. We're gonna get to that too. I'm gonna talk about that too, because that's in the works too, because we need to bring that shit back.
whoever, and remember, and I might be showing my age a little bit, but whoever led the Clue tape, remember that was like the hottest, like whatever song
That was the
Clue
one.
led the tape with, that was like, oh, that was the one. You're really trying to get this off, and it
And
was a
shout outs
thing
to
to
the
have that
DJs.
song
Shout out to
first.
DJs. And like I said, DJs don't they people saying the DJs did how that's blasphemous talk too. We blasphemous talk. Don't,
It's blasphemous,
we have
but
the
we
internet,
have
but
the
the
internet.
internet is certain things like internet is on a we have to deal with macro and micro. But a lot of things start from the micro, especially in your
Uh,
city. You got to blow up in your. I mean, you don't have to blow up in your city no more first before you blow up. But you have
that's
DJs.
what
Shout
I'm
out to
talking about.
Coalition DJs. I know Coalition DJs in Philly, Florida, New York. They're all These guys get the
Hmm.
DJ Duke, one of the hottest DJs in the city, goes all over. So when
Duke
he's busy
stays
and he
busy. Duke
takes,
is a
and if
busy guy.
he messes with you and he feels your music enough, he'll take his music, your music with him. So don't ever tell me the DJs did, because even though the
Yeah, shout
internet
out
is
to.
all over the place, people still have to search you. They still have to pick up your algorithm.
See, and what that was 20 years ago was everybody, let's get in the van and
Yeah,
drive to New York and stand outside
yeah.
the radio station and rap. Let's go stand outside the Def Jam all day until somebody who
But that
looks
was
important
before
comes outside.
DJs in our city was able to move about like they did. Unless you were DJ Clue or Funk Master Flex, that was the only people that was able to go and get booked in different cities. But now any DJ can get booked. Any DJ can get booked anywhere now.
But,
So DJ in your city, get to know the
right.
DJs in your city. You see what I'm saying? But back to what we was back to get on track. Yeah. So
I could
you just
roll
see,
up on here too. I
man.
don't know
Listen.
how politically.
That's one
I
thing
don't
about
get in front of
7
the
Percent,
camera,
we
so I
gonna do what
don't.
we do, baby. They ain't cutting us off. We in this motherfucker. You feel me? Roll the fuck up, cause I just smoked one. I'm about to probably roll up another one. I don't want to do too much. I want to focus on ask questions.
I got
But like I said, like you said, you dealt with IZM, but on the management thing, when did you first realize that you had that bug for the business side?
You want the story? You told me, it's only a half an hour.
We can go
really
a
want
little
the
long.
story?
Fuck
It
it.
might be a while. I was the kid. I was cool. I was the kid that. I'm trying to get
My
my
stand
bed right.
too. I got my shit sitting up against some shit I don't want to tell you. When we get our
These
money,
Apple
we'll get
products
our shit
sometimes.
set up. But we working right now.
Hey, I'm trying. Hold on 1 second. Damn it. I'm over here being black for real. I'm
When
trying
y'all
all
see this,
types of
when y'all
stuff.
see this interview, just know when we make it to the top, save this video. This is what it's about.
I'm good. I think I'm
You
good.
see what I'm saying? We go ahead.
I'm gonna have to just keep my eye on the battery, but I'm trying to put it on the charger. But the itch for the music business. That's what you want the
We
beginning
brought you
of
to the
the
business side.
I was the kid that was always reading album credits. I don't know where that shit came from. I don't
You opened up,
know
you
what
looked at the
sparked
book.
it.
You was one of them guys that looked at
Maybe.
all it. I'm like, I wanted to know who produced it, who wrote it. I looked at that too. I didn't want to open up the book. The book was everything to me because the book is where I got the designs. You know, I've done CD covers and all that. I know how to do credits. That's where the real money is laid. The writers.
See, and I'm gonna get to that. I was reading the credits to see who everybody was at the label. See, I had it in the beginning. I was just more curious of like, okay, who are the people that make this stuff go? Who are the people that work on Michael Jackson's Thriller? Not Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson, but who's the promo guy? Who's the video guy getting Thriller to ABC?
That's how I found out. That's how I found out about the Steve Stouts, the Leo Cohens. That's how those guys.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
You hear the rappers talk about it sometimes, like Jay-Z will talk about Leo. You're like, who the hell is Leo Cohen? Then you're like, oh, that's Leo. Like, that's what infatuated me with the business side. Because like you said, they're the guys that make things go.
So, right. So reading the album credits, I would also read the shout outs from the rappers. And you remember rappers shout outs in the CD jacket in the 90s, the paragraph
they had to give credit
like
where it was due.
So I would scan it and read every name. I'm reading every name, the DJ, I'm reading shout out to such and such at the label, shout out. So that's where it started. On the flip side of that, I had an aunt that was in the music business. My aunt used to date Fife from A Tribe Called Quest. So rest in peace to Fife Dog. So it really kicked in when they were dating. Fife and Q-Tip come over my grandmother's house. I'm 10 years old when all this stuff is going on. See, it's not. I couldn't have been 40 years old with them coming by back then, 92. I couldn't. It wouldn't. I would have ended up on the tour bus or something. I would have ended up working with Violator. I would have been working with Chris Lighty. I want to even say Mike Lighty. Chris. I want to say Mike Lighty came through. Like I'm trying to put the faces as because I was 9, 10 years old at the time, and I'm looking, you know, and I'm watching the
Chris.
Knicks games with Fight.
And shout out to Lighty. Shout out to my man.
All right, rest in peace to Chris Lighty too. Yeah,
And
yeah, and Mike.
my
Shout out to Mike
man from
Lighty.
here, from Baltimore. Shit, Kevin Lyles,
Tony
man,
Austin,
entertainment.
Kevin Lyles.
That was somebody I really followed because he's.
Shout out to Kevin. I don't. Do I have
You've
to keep
already
it
asked me, and I told you
PC
no.
on here? I don't like the structure that they, you know, that was built with the 360 deals. I don't care for that in the music business. So Kevin Lyles is a black man. He's from Baltimore. I'm gonna always salute him, but I didn't care for that that structure. You know, I don't, and I know you got to move forward with the times, and it's digital and it's online, and record companies are losing money because of digital streaming and everything that's, you know, illegal and online. But I don't like the 360 structure for an artist, you know, for record companies. To me, record companies need to get back to making stars.
It preys on, you know, the hunger and the exuberance of the artist, because they just want to get on. They just want to get in front of the camera. They just want that advance money. And
exactly.
It pays for the artist to understand. I mean, I know guys like us understand the business side because the side that we chose. But you also have to have artists, like, it's one thing, like, okay, it's like a job. Whatever job you're at, you work in this department and somebody else works in that department. But it'd be good for you to know what goes on in that department still, just in case something happens and you have to, you know what I mean? So as a rapper, you still need. I hear rappers all the time, man, I don't keep up with the business side. Then you don't want to be a rapper.
They still talk like that? Rappers still talk like that? How do you not fuck with the business side when you got rappers out here, the Currency,
live with
the
an artist
Nipsey Hussle, R.I.P.
live. He said, man, I don't really fuck with the business side, getting on my nerves, man. He went to a whole, I don't even think he said, I think he said you already stopped rapping. You know what I'm saying? He's not from Baltimore, but he's like, man, I'm going to stop rapping, man. I'm getting tired of the business side. Well, if you had a better understanding of it, my guy, you wouldn't have to quit. Somebody got to teach you how to fish, and you get mad because you can't even get the bait on the hook. You know what I'm saying?
You know, you have to have a team around you, and you have to have you got to be willing to learn. Even in our position, you have to be willing to learn.
I'm never gonna stop learning. As long as that breath is flowing through my lungs, it's gonna be something I need to know about this game. And that's a good segue because you spoke about team. So speak about team, the Riff Raff crew.
Let me circle back to the let me give you the other half to the music business side, and then we'll get to that. So the other half with my aunt, like I said, she dated Fight from A Tribe Called Quest. She's touring, she was in Juice, she's all over the world, and this is, mind you, this is me in New York as a kid. This is me living on Long Island, early 90s New York. So I'm seeing hip hop and fashion and culture change in front of me. And I just fell in love with the shit. Like, the stuff that people retro now, my older cousins wore, like the Nike volleyball, you know, the Nike volleyball crew necks, you know, the stop clock watches, the door knocker. A little bit of that, Tirby,
because you're not,
was in real time.
You're not pure Baltimorean, but you adapted most of our culture from being here. But tell everybody where you're originally from again. Say that again so they know.
I was told a couple of weeks ago I'm from everywhere. I was born in Germany. So my father, he's in the Air Force. So I was born in Germany, then New York, and then I ended up here.
That army is shit though.
So
I was just saying the army bread life is the shit I heard. It's dull for some, but for other people it was a little exciting because they get to travel.
It depends on how old you are. I was a kid. The positive part that I was able to take from it was you're around kids of different ethnicities. And you're around different cultures. So it forces you to adapt and be in different situations. You might be, I had math classes where maybe there's a lot of Filipino students in the class and only a couple of black kids. You have to adapt to that.
That's crazy because shout out to the armed forces, because my mother was actually over in Germany too. I could have been almost born in Germany. My mother actually had. By the time she came back to the States, that's when she got pregnant with me. So I was almost German too.
Right. Right, right. I don't know if I can go back. I don't know. I think my mother did something with my paperwork. I don't know. I don't know if it's a joke, but you know.
We're going back. We're going back.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna definitely go back. But to give you the music business side, so I have my aunt in the music business. You know, she's running around she's going to the tunnel. She's doing these things in real time. I'll get to that in a second. So long story short, 1995, 94, we're sitting in the living room, we're watching music videos. Remember music videos, Stan? Remember when it was like a thing to watch music videos? Like the box. Remember that was a thing? We're watching music videos, and the Flavor in Your Ear remix video comes on. So you're talking Busta, Big, Rampage, LL Cool J, and Big, R.I.P., and Craig Mack. Of course. Can't forget Craig Mack. Craig Mack from Long Island. Rest in peace, Craig Mack. Big, man. Yeah. So we're sitting there in the living room, and I'm watching the video with her. We're rapping along and everything, and I keep seeing this guy in the video with shades on, and he's dancing. And I'm like, Mumsy. I call my aunt Mumsy. I'm like, Mumsy, who's this dude dancing in the video? She was like, who? Craig Mack? I'm like, nah, I know who Craig Mack is. She was like, you ain't talking about Biggie? I'm like, no, him right there with the shades. She was like, oh, that's Puff. I'm like, Puff. I'm like, what does he do? Like, what? He's not rap because he's not rapping. He's just in the video. He's just dancing. I'm like, what does he do? She was like, oh, he owns the company.
And I know that feeling you had.
Owns the company.
I know, and I'm gonna get to it, but go ahead, finish your story. I'm gonna tell you my whole story.
Owns the company. So I'm like, okay, cool. So he doesn't rap. Well, not yet. So I'm like, he doesn't rap. I'm like, what does he do? She was like, oh, he runs the record label. So remember when music videos went off, they would show you the record label. It would have the song title, maybe the album that the song was on, the record label that the artist was signed to. She said, you see that? She said, you see that right there, that Bad Boy Arista? She was like, that's Puff right there. That's Puff and a guy called Clive Davis. I'm like, who the fuck is Clive Davis? And she just looked at me like, oh, God, like, you're getting ready to go down. This is a rabbit hole that you're getting ready, that you're getting ready to go down. And for her to tell me, you know, that Puff is throwing parties at the Red Zone. And I'm like, wait a minute, did he go to college? And she was like, well, yeah, he doesn't have a degree. I'm like, so wait a minute, you don't need a, what? Like, what is this? It was a wrap from there. Like, I was enthralled. Like I was enthralled with the music business. So with Bad Boy, you know, my aunt was able to do like freelance. She didn't work directly like for the label, you know, but she did a lot of freelance work. So going back to when I was 11 and 12 years old, I remember seeing the early Biggie posters, the Big Mac promo posters. That was the coolest shit in the world to me, you know. And then I'm like, Diane, but wait a minute, who is this guy Puff? And she was like, and this is what she told me. She said, Dario, he's just like you. He's curious. He's from the suburbs. He's a curious kid from the suburbs that throws parties and got cool. That was a rap. That was a rap. Puff to me is the GOAT. I know all the.
And I did my homework. Puff kind of infatuated me, but what really got me the mogul thing was at that Source Hip Hop Awards, the Suge Knight joint. I say, who the fuck? The thing where you ask who is that guy? So who the fuck? That guy, y'all, all in the videos, all. I'm like, well, this nigga hard. He's like, yeah, he wasn't different. I'm like, yo, I guess that's my. I mean, because you're Leo, I'm a Scorpio, so that aggressiveness, I guess. He's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Come on over to Death Row Records, you know what I'm saying? Like, just walk off stage, like, yeah. I'm like, oh shit.
We could do a whole live on the 95 Source Awards because people don't even realize how much culture changed after Suge left the stage. After Suge left that microphone, pause. People don't even know like that shit shaped hip hop to where we're at now. That show shaped hip hop because remember what was the other thing that happened when Andre 3000 got on stage and they were in New York. Andre 3000 got on stage and said, "The South." Damn, I forgot what he said that fast. He said the South is Oh, what y'all? What? Yeah, the South don't get. I don't know. Snoop said, "Y'all ain't got no love." The South got something to say. Yeah, that's what he said. He said this. Yeah, but Andre
Yeah,
3000
South
said the
got something.
South
Yeah,
got
because he's
something
like,
to
yeah,
say.
because y'all just forgot about it. Now look at it. Now look at it.
You said that, and 360. He said that in the heart of New York City, and then he said it when New York was running hip hop. You gotta realize the part of the problem with New York. I think the reason why they fell off so hard is because pause when they had it, like they had it.
It was
Like
New York was on. I mean, everybody
like,
that was hot on the top Billboard 100 was probably from New York, and everybody else. It was New York.
like fuck all that. Fuck all that, Stan. You had Mace, Pun, Jay, Big, Nas, Mobb Deep, Capone Noriega, Fat Joe, Cool G Rap, Craig Mack, Keith Murray running around the
And that's just the
same
males.
fucking city.
That's just the dudes.
And
Like,
that's just the dudes
we're not
running
even going to
around the
like,
same
God
city.
damn. Like, and that's what we're trying to do here now, like in Cumberland. And it's going to start with Riff on the Cliff. But we're going to get into that. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to ask you a question because we talked about F.Aa.T Brand and the inception of F.Aa.T Brand, your love for the business side. So I'm going to ask you this: what are your pet peeves and what really grinds your gears about the business side, as it pertains to dealing with artists? What really? Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's ever asked me that before. That's a good
I
question.
know.
Damn, I wasn't prepared for that. Nobody. I tried to study for the IG live test, and that's I would have failed. Like if we were in school, I would have failed. I would have got the question wrong. I mean, you know, when you're dealing with artists are naturally they're creators. They're artists. They're recording artists. So when you take on a management role or that road manager role or the A&R role, anything day to day, it kind of comes with the territory. So a pet peeve with an artist now, I kind of switched it up. You know how I move forward now. Like if it's not fun, I don't want to do it. If it's not fun, I don't want to do it. If I don't draw to the artist, because people ask me a lot. Well, what are you looking for? What type of artist are you looking for? The only type of artist I'm looking for is a Whitney Houston or a Michael Jackson. That's what I'm looking for. That's all I'm looking. If you're Luther Vandross, if you're if you're Whitney Houston, I'm looking for the next Whitney Houston. I'm looking for the next Michael Jackson. I'm looking for the next Janis Joplin, the next Elton John. That's what I'm looking for.
That's dangerous talk.
But you're not gonna come across that.
Those people.
See, that's.
Hey, my man, that's dangerous
I said Janis Joplin.
Thinking, yeah. You know what I mean? They ain't gonna go. They're not gonna go all Jim Croce. Yeah, you talking about time to now. You trying to put time in the bottle.
So, right. So now I just like what I like when I see it. Like that's what moves me. I got to be moved by it, and not to say that to be condescending, because that doesn't mean an artist isn't talented or whack. Like I tell some artists, you know, yeah, you were cool, but I'm just not.
And there was somebody else might. And to put it in perspective, like I said, I was there, and I appreciate you guys for inviting me there. When I came there for the audition, the last audition clip, and you're one of the panels, you're one of the judges on the panel, so that's why one of the reasons why I asked you that question. I'm like, I'm sitting behind you, so I'm like, I wonder what the hell's going through these guys' heads, because I'm watching, you're watching the performance, so I want to know, like, what the hell are they thinking? Because y'all didn't.
Yeah, like. It doesn't. Nothing jumps out at me. Like I said, unless it's Whitney Houston or Michael Jackson, it's not gonna jump out at me. And Tony, you know, shout out to Tony Dirk and Dirkon, I'm sorry, from Funds Unlimited. At the first audition, Tony said something that stuck with me. He said, "It's just not your season. If you didn't get picked, it's not your season." That goes for everybody. That goes for what me and you were doing. That goes for recording artists. It doesn't mean, you know, not ever. It just means not now, or the situation wasn't meant for you to be over it. You know, it wasn't meant for you to be over it. Think if Uptown would have gave Dame and Jay and Biggs the deal at Rockefeller. You see what I'm saying? Like, think about that. What if Jay would have signed with Uptown Records? What if he would have signed with Andre Harrell? What if Andre Harrell would have been like, you know what? I like this. Let's do the deal tomorrow.
60.
Without this is 93, 94. Do we not get Rockefeller? You're telling me Rockefeller doesn't happen? Nah. I'm glad Andre Harrell kicked Dame and Jay out the office.
You are tough.
I'm glad. I'm glad. We would have never got Rockefeller. We would have never got Just Blaze and all the Rockefeller family tree. And have you ever seen the Rockefeller family tree? What it is, it's like a rendering of like J. Damon Biggs, like at the top, and everybody that from all walks of not just the music business, just people that like Kevin Hart is on the Rockefeller tree. Kevin Hart. Why? You know why?
No.
Paper Soldiers. Whose movie is Paper Soldiers? That's Dame's movie. Who put Kevin Hart in Paper Soldiers? Dame. Rockefeller has Kevin Hart on their family tree. That's what I'm talking about. It's your season. You got executives, you got countless executives on the Rockefeller family tree. Kenny Burns, probably names that I'm gonna spew out that people don't even know who they are. But guys like Kenny Burns, guys like Lenny S. I know you know who Lenny S. is, Mr. Kodak Man. These are guys that came from Dame, Biggs, and Jay. Like, so just think if they signed the deal at Uptown. Think if Andre Harrell says, you know what, I like this. Let's do it there. It was meant for them to go to Def Jam. It was meant for Ain't No Nigga to be on the Nutty Professor soundtrack. I told you you're gonna need 25 minutes. We're gonna have to do this in parts like a Vlad interview.
And see what I'm going because what I was gonna do is because this is not gonna stop. Wait, me and you got some. We're gonna talk about that more. We can run this shit. You're gonna be on live more with me, so get used to it. But no, we're not gonna finish now.
Cool.
What I'm gonna do is, for the sake of downloading this right here, we'll say this is part 1, and then I'm gonna come back on and I'm gonna do several more. I'm gonna call it several more, right? Because we got Chris on. Chris wants to get on too from Iconic. I mean, I want to see when I do my interviews, when I do my 7 questions with Stan, I like to do it with the person that I had guesting, because it's a one-on-one thing. I want to just get that person's perspective. So that's why you'll never see me do group several questions. I do a special. I'll do like a 4 corners type thing. I'll do a special for that. But when I do, I like to give that person, whoever that is, that's on the other side of that screen, I like to give them my full attention. You see what I'm saying? So every time I do several questions, I like to do it with that person on. I know Chris won't get on, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart the live. And I'm going to have you just stay by your iPad. Don't go nowhere, Tirby. All right, and
I won't. No, I am. I won't. We'll get into the riff one. Right, I can do the backstory of these pause. Like I said, this could be chopped up in several pieces. But I definitely want to get to the riff.
Because like I said, like you haven't been on camera, so you have a lot to say, and you have a vast amount of knowledge in that underneath that bucket hat of yours that I need to tap.
Check this out. I don't even really have a lot to say. I don't really have a lot to say. I'd rather the art.
I'll say you have
like I'm not one of those people that I don't post story y'all to death. I want the art.
So what I'll say is you got a lot inside of your brain, and it's gonna take guys like me to pull it out. I'll say it like that. So
definitely
give me like 30-50 seconds, and I'm about to restart this live. Don't go nowhere. We're going to add Chris. You don't go nowhere either. Iconic, don't go nowhere because I'm about to add everybody else back on. I'm going to save this one so I can download this one. We're going to upload this one to YouTube. And then I'm going to come back on with several more. All right? Yeah, once I download it off of Instagram and save it, I'm going to send it to you.